There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
I'm Thomas Munn with Blue Juice Comics, and you're watching The Experience.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? This is Miss Jen. I'm here to do some talking shop. I'm talking to you out of Space Cadets Collection, and you're watching us on The Experience. This is a live comic shop, which is pretty fun. And as such, we know that information is power about what books are coming out this week so that you can choose. And it's even more fun when you can actually talk to creators about what they've got going on that's coming out. Today, at some point, Charlie Stickney is going to come on, but he is probably experiencing super lag because they had at Scout Comics this weekend, the Scout Comics HQ grand opening, which is so cool. They have always had a nice front end to their company where they have a bunch of neat displays. So you can see all of the cool books that they have available or have had in the past. And they had an idea when they moved and had a second big facility, when they've got a big warehouse in the back end, to have a place that almost felt like a real shop on its own, where they have displays. If you saw pictures of it this weekend, it looks like a regular shop, like if you went to the Barnes & Noble or went to a comic shop. It's all set out by genre and all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really cool setup, and I love it very much. So I understand that they had a whole bunch of creators fly in, and I think they did some signings, like if you went to a regular little convention. And I can't remember everybody that got to go. I know that Joseph Smolke was supposed to go, but then the airline canceled his flight, which is kind of a thing right now, which is interesting. If you guys are on, feel free to say hi. And think of your questions for Charlie when he comes on. The other thing that might happen is it totally possible that he may have forgotten which time zone we're in. That's also possible, which has happened before. Not with Charlie.
So Miss Jen, I'm super curious as to what white ash you have back there, because I might have to make some room in my budget later.
So I do have what's so funny, GD, is that the white ash trade paperback, somehow I ended up with just one copy of it. So I'm going to have to order more of it, because normally it's something I would have 10 or 20 of. But it's the very first trade paperback of his awesome series that is supposed to go at least, he's told me before, 60 issues long. And if that is 6 issues series, that's 10 volumes of trade paperback eventually, so which is kind of crazy. And there's so many forms of this cool book to get. Honestly, the series, you can also get it as a comic tag, which is so rock and roll, because it is a collectible card inside. Look, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to open it. Don't do this at home, kids.
Wait, it's not mint in box anymore.
It's totally not. I actually had someone say that they got some of these comic tags and they were like, we don't want to open them because then they're open. I'm like, come on now. If we got to leave these kinds of things closed. All right, so it has a little seal on it. So I've broken the seal. So it's a perfect gift for somebody, right? So it looks like a little comic book. It has a page inside to give you an idea what the comic book's like. It has this collectible card. I think that if they're going to make another run of this comic tag, they'll change the card in it. So it'll only be this card once. And it has a little synopsis on the back so that they know what the book is about even before they get into it. And it's the entire trade paperback that's on PDF from that scan bar, which is so cool. So I'm thinking present-wise, this is kind of a good idea if you're not sure if someone wants to like start carrying or start collecting a whole bunch of comic books and taking up space in their house, or if you know somebody that doesn't have a lot of extra space, but you want to get them into comic books. These comic tags are really cool. And I think the plan that they have in place, honestly, is to do these for all their titles, but then I think they're talking to other companies about doing them for their books as well.
Yeah, it's perfect for me because I move around departments a lot, and just lugging huge boxes of comic books and trades is a pain, and you have to go through a lot of pizza with your friends to get them to carry them for you.
You have to actually ask them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then weirdly, okay, so this is I'm gonna like self-tell myself. So I have 1 through 6, which is the whole series. But don't have out here number 4 because I pulled them all because it's the first appearance of Galarian, which is this character. so I pulled them because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen if this becomes a movie or something. I don't want to have the first appearance of a major character disappear. But I'm going to have to pull them back out because now people can't make a run otherwise. But these are swanky ones with his autograph on them.
Sweet.
But the series takes place in the town of White Ash. And when it starts out, it kind of feels like it's just a normal, these are people that live in a small town, I think Kentucky.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania, that's right. And it's a mining town. And so that's what kind of like their economy is about. And it's all about the just like small town feel about it. But as the story goes along, you find out, and I'm going to give the spoiler because the series has been obviously out long enough to have a trade paperback. But the spoiler you find out, I think even in the first issue, is that the town isn't all that it seems to be, that it actually is anciently old, and like the part of the town that are the people that do the mining are actual dwarves. So it's like all of these, the things you would normally find in kind of like Lord of the Rings lore, like elves and dwarves and those kinds of things. They've just made themselves part of a normal town life. And so there are things that go on that might be associated with those races. But, and there's a very cool bad guy as part of the lore. But it also is about relationships and those kinds of things. And it's got amazing art. The art that's on the front of these is the art that's on the inside. It's not like one of those where like the art's great on the cover and the inside's a whole different art style. It's not true. They're just like this. She's the elf, obviously. I can't remember what race the main character fellow is.
Oh, I think that is a secret that has not been revealed as of yet.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be important when it happens. But yeah, it's a cool set. It's actually interesting because I met Charlie at I think I met him at a convention, and he had I met him over when we had hard COVID shutdown. I was reaching out to creators so I could have something new in the shop, and he had the hardcover for the first 6 issues already finished. So he sent that to me, and I got to read all the way through the first 6 before even number 1 came out from Scout. So I already knew how awesome it was and how much I wanted to support it. So that was different. So Ryan or Rob, you have any questions before we pump Charlie to death? I'm sure he's just like, what is going on? My phone's blowing up. Yeah, a fellow just came in a little while ago and was asking about, he was interested in a zombie book. But he said, this is totally not my wheelhouse. Because I just came in, I wanted to have a zombie book. And so I handed him Rabid, also by Scout, which is definitely a zombie book. You're here for the entertainment. And Adrian's here to say station. All right, station, everyone. Does anyone have a favorite Scout book? If it doesn't happen to be White Ash.
I like White Ash, but I gotta go with the bunny.
Yeah, Stabby Bunny by Richard Rivera is got so much heart. It feels to me a little bit like Miyazaki, where it's cute, the art style's cute, but it's unsettling because there's stabby parts in it. Stabby Bunny, the bunny that this girl has as a stuffed animal, turns out to be able to come alive, but you only see it in shadow. You never see it like it's an actual thing. And
it's like possessed by an ancient spirit or something.
Yeah. In the
universe,
that universe is definitely shadow based because there's another book that's tied to that universe that has shadow in the title.
See, Ashton knows. He likes the Stabby, or she likes the Stabby Bunny as well.
I think Ashton probably has all of them, all the Stabbies. Yeah, Richard's been really busy with the Scout line because that's what he's in charge of. So if you see all the really cool ideas that are coming out of Scout with the Scout title, that is why he knows what he's doing.
So tell all your friends with kids to buy Scout for their kids, because we know that if you had kids, you would not have money for comic book collecting. So you probably wouldn't be here.
Ashley said Steak's their second favorite. Steak is an awesome vampire tale. I like that one as well. I'm trying to think what. By the Horns is one that's becoming one of my favorites because it's one of those things that, the whole premise of the book is that this girl's super pissed off because she believes her husband, or I think it's her husband, was killed by what she believes is a unicorn. So she goes on this big tear to go kill everything with horns. She doesn't really care if it has one horn. It doesn't matter. Just by proximity or association, everything with horns. But what is interesting to me is that she actually has like a animal, I don't want to say pet, companion that has a bunch of horns. And for some reason that one is fine. But they had an issue recently, like issue 6 or something, was a completely silent one, and it goes back and actually shows you what actually happened. And so it's one of those I'm gonna cry issues.
Oh no! Speaking of horns, have you seen that Antlers movie that just came out?
Is that the one? No, I'm thinking of Lamb.
Yeah.
Where
it's a horror movie. It's a horror movie with little Wolven Heart is starting to slowly come out now after so long, says Ryan White.
Yeah, I saw there was one issue so far. Yeah, Ryan's got that's from Man Cave.
Oh, I've never heard of that. That sounds pretty cool though. I was saying it's one of those horror movies where a little kid, is kind of ostracized by the rest of the community and makes an imaginary friend who is actually a horrible demonic creature.
Nice.
Yeah, it's apparently a version of a Wendigo.
So I'm thinking of a different total thing because I think there's another really weird, quirky film that's out. I think it's called Lamb.
No, that's from what's the one the studio A24 that does kind of like just the creepy, not really horror, just sort of disturbing. Off-putting movies.
Twilight Zone-ish thing.
Yeah, have you ever seen It Comes at Night?
I don't think so.
No. Oh, they did Hereditary and Midsummer.
Oh, Midsummer. I could not watch that.
Yeah. Hereditary was really good, but it was not as gory as Midsummer. So I knew when I heard how gory that was, I was like, nope. But Hereditary is actually super. Oh, it's so disturbing. It's really good horror movie.
Oh man, I tend to lean toward horror that is I like creature features.
Okay.
I cut my teeth on things like Piranha and Grizzly from back in the day.
Grizzly, yes, almost like a word for word remake of Jaws with a bear.
So true.
Oh man, I love it.
And I don't like ones that are like the the formulaic, like people, like a bunch of teenagers go out to a cabin in the woods and hook up, and then everyone dies. I'm not
Yeah,
going into
but
this.
I liked Cabin in the Woods, which was a deconstruction of that.
It's true. But then I love things like Black Mirror or Altered Carbon, or I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of like Love, Death, Robots, which are kind of like almost like what ifs for just anything.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really great. If you guys haven't watched any of those are really cool.
Yeah. So let's talk about, what do you guys like? What's out there in the pop culture world that you're watching now? What's interesting that we should be watching?
Watching, or what did you guys
Or listening to podcasts?
Yeah, did you guys read last week that you thought was amazing? I know that Venom came out last week. I had the weirdest week because I was at the Exxon Mobil campus as a pop-up shop, so I didn't get to do Tuesday reading. So this is like the first weekend, I cannot remember when, that, because I usually plan everything so that I can at least do my review show, and then even if I have to be gone afterwards, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I didn't read any of the new titles this weekend. I need to take them home tonight and try to.
Otherwise, you just be sitting there, and Bean will be like, and I read this one, and then I read this one. Rob Owen saw Turtles was better than everybody made it out to be.
Yeah,
Apparently.
I've heard that over and over again, Rob, that everybody's saying that it feels like people saw them come out, and the very first critics review, and we're like, okay, well, it can't be a good movie. And I always see a critics review come out, and I think to myself, most critics aren't into the superhero thing, so if they say bad, it's probably pretty good. So I just hoping people give it a chance to actually go watch it, because it is not the normal formula. Well, I won't say formulaic, because none of them are really formulaic, but it's not the normal formula for Marvel superhero film, because this one's more they're like very ancient beings, and it's bigger, right? Because we're talking about celestials now, which are gigantic things that have been around forever.
Yeah, this was a step up in scope from, I think, anything else that Marvel had done, and they did it. It was sort of an art film. You know, Marvel movies, you can break them down into different genres of film. Like Ant-Man was like a heist film. I'm trying to think of another example. My brain is locking up. But they're superhero films because they're about superheroes, but they're also different genres of film. But this one was sort of like an art house feature with some action bits.
Oh yeah, and some people fussed about them, like it felt like they were trying to have one of everything, as far as body types, styles, and what people are about. And I was like, I loved it, because it's that's really cool to have representation of everything, right? Have a deaf actress, and just to see actual my favorite part of the whole movie was the Bollywood.
Yeah.
Because I was worried it was going to be just Bollywood for Bollywood's sake, but it fits in the storyline. They made sense. It's a way for him to make it through, eons and eons without having to worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, if you're immortal, but you still want to eat occasionally. Apparently they do eat, but they don't need to. I don't know. I didn't get that far. But it's Dan Wickline on his show was saying why, if they were created out of whole cloth by the Celestials, why one death? And it's to him, these are Celestials. These are beings we can't possibly fathom the reasons they do things. And it seemed to me that they were making more, they were making this group of beings was more than just robots. They were a work of art as well. And they were all meant to fit together in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's what I thought.
How's that worry, right? If you make robots, that they don't understand humanity, but it was clear that they did.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they qualify as robots. They were just not evolved. They weren't there were life forms that were just created instead of having evolved.
Sure.
Is what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the new Dexter acting?
I heard that the first episodes have like very spoilery stuff in it, so don't give anything away. Full disclosure, I never watched Dexter. I understand that it's really, really good. I love that actor.
Yeah. Well, a lot of in the first season, it really spoke to me because a lot of the things that way he described his sickness applies to a lot of different mental illness. So I think a lot of people with depression and anxiety really kind of connected with the character, and also were worried, am I a serial killer? Wait. Ryan is upset.
I'm sorry, Ryan. If you only knew how many things were on my watch list. And the reality is that when I make it home every day, it's usually about 10, which means I have 1 hour of TV to watch with my husband. And so if you only have 1 hour a day to watch and you're watching a specific thing, it's hard to fit other things in there. So I have to get to the end of all the things I'm currently watching. I finished Lucifer. That was awesome. And I watch a lot of real crime drama stuff. Like all the stuff that they put out is documentaries on Netflix. The moment that they go on, I've watched them. So
I've watched so many police procedurals, like in my 30s, that I can't watch them anymore because they are all same. I did not speak the word in the middle there because I know this is a family show, but they are just all at a certain point you're just like, yes, I get, okay, here's this killer, and here's this type of killer, and here's this one killer. Rob says if you're only going to watch 1 hour of television, should be the British Bake Off show.
Oh, that's also one that tempts me all the time. I see it come scroll across, and I'm just like, oh, that sounds cool. But I still haven't finished, this season of Jeopardy yet, and so much. I'm still watching Survivor. It's a tough life. My husband and I, full disclosure, fall asleep on the couch most nights because we're trying to get through all the stuff we want to watch. Do you guys do that? Are you couch sleepers?
I usually fall asleep with like my phone game in my hand, like whatever phone game I happen to be playing.
What games do you play?
Well, actually, I play a Marvel superhero game called Marvel Strike Force, which is pretty popular. It's just like a 5 versus 5 kind of battle. You form a squad of 5 characters from the Marvel universe, and they battle the other, other person's makeup, and you collect a whole pantheon of superheroes and villains and level them up. It's actually, they came up with an in-canon idea for the game, in that there's a character called Ultimus, who was in the comics. I don't think he was this powerful in the comics, but like in one universe, Ultimus became so powerful that he converted all of the superheroes of that universe into being his, mind-controlled slaves.
Oh, dude.
And then started moving universe to universe and taking over and converting heroes, so that when let's say you have Daredevil in your squad and you're fighting Daredevil, it's because that Daredevil is from another universe and has been controlled by Ultimus.
Can you tell them apart? I mean, do they
Yes, they have
easy, they have a different color costume?
No, they have glowing red eyes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it fair.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool if you play through this story when you first start the game. You get it's very easy to see where you are in the universe. Mm-hmm. You're in the Nexus Earth, which is the universe that connects to all other universes at the same time.
So this isn't the one that because I know there was a Marvel video game that had my brain just stopped. Captain America's girlfriend as Captain America. Like she has the costume and everything.
No, they haven't come out with Captain Carter in this game yet. They may. They
keep on thinking Sharon in my head, and it's not Sharon.
They did release Sharon Carter actually in the game not too long ago.
Ooh.
Sharon Carter, Maria Hill, and Captain America, Sam. No, Future Fight's the one that just came out, and they also came up with a different canon reason for that one. But again, that's more of a kind of a roving brawler game for the phone. I didn't get into that quite as much. This is just like, it's more strategic because you don't, just like they have 3 abilities and, you get to choose. It's turn-based. It's basically who to target and which ability to use in this.
Is everybody that's playing, are they real people, or is it everybody that's not you a computerized person?
You can do both.
Okay.
Yeah, there's PvP and there's PvE as well.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. PvP is player versus player. PvE is player versus, I don't know, the game. I don't know why it's E. I don't know what the E stands for. Does anybody know?
What's it mean? My speed is honestly things like Bejeweled.
Bejeweled? Yeah. Oh no, I love those too.
Candy Crush.
I got a message. Kyle. Oh, PvE is player versus everyone apparently. Yeah. Epic 7 Heroes of the Dark on your phone. Let me message Kyle real quick. He wants to know if he should come on. I'm going to tell him yes.
Sure, you can come on. We're just having a jabberjaw. Yeah, I don't like games that have you doing like specific tasks, and if you fail at the tasks, then it pushes you back to the beginning of, maybe not even the entire thing, but at the beginning of the segment. It gets stressed out having to do the same thing over and over again.
That's what I was thinking about video games growing up, was like, there was like, to increase the difficulty and increase the playtime, you could lose progress, and that always disheartened me. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to do it again.
It was like we were raised on, Pitfall and all of those side-scrolling games which didn't save. You just like died and you had to start at the beginning again. And that's why we're all super grumpy Gen X's.
Oh, you guys don't even know, you kids. Like, even the games that did save, like Metroid, you had to write down a 25-character code and then put it in on the Nintendo with like the clicking like up and down, like you had the whole alphabet. You had to click down to G, 5.
Have you ever played like on, at least when we had AT&T, there was like a games channel where you had to use your remote control to play it. Yeah, they were the worst, but they were fun, dumb ones like Minefield and whatever those things are called.
Yeah, I remember when my family got Pong. That was such a big deal. Mm-hmm. Little Pong, sort of. I guess it was supposed to be ping pong on the computer. Yeah. But also, ours came with a gun. Oh, here he is.
Oh, Mike Tyson, yeah.
Oh, Mike Tyson Punch Out. That was, yes, super stressful. There we go. Kyle just punched you.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out is on one of the new
simulators or emulators
things, and it's still super hard.
I mean, Mike Tyson was easy.
Real bad at it.
Mike Tyson was easy, and the guy who had his pants would fall down, he was easy.
Right, but then you get to the guy with the green trunks.
Yeah.
And he's impossible to beat. I don't know what we're talking about, but I know Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So
we were just kind of going from subject to subject with whatever came up. Like, we're talking very random shop today.
I am going to bet all of my money that Charlie thought 5 p.m. West Coast.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great.
We'll get them on at some point.
Why don't we take a quick break? We'll just play some commercials. We'll come back and discuss things.
Yeah.
Yes, and stuff.
Baby. There we go.
Today's comics market is ripe with new titles by creators who are determined to get their books into your hands. My name is Henri Compen. For the last decade, I've been making and selling my own creator-owned comics and dealing as a collector in live sales. My signature series, Yi Sun Shin, is the book that cannot be defeated in battle and has over 250,000 copies in print. Now I'm taking comics to the next level and laying the groundwork for my fellow creators to get their voices heard so they can connect directly with you. This is your chance to engage live with top comic book talent and get your comics signed without having to wait in long lines or pay any fees. But remember, we only have a limited amount of their books in stock, so always remember to call it as you see it.
Hey, I'm Joe Pruitt. I'm the publisher and /CEO of Aftershock Comics, and you're watching The Experience.
And I should listen to Joe more often. He's like a publisher /CEO. I've just been saying he was the publisher. He's got a fancier title. So I did hear.
Is Kyle frozen, or is he just sitting very still? It's hard to tell with him.
You can never tell. We play this game when we do Nerd News Now too, where we freeze on purpose. So I will say, I just heard from Charlie. Charlie had a family emergency, and that's why he's not on. So we'll have to reschedule.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
everything's all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just said it's drama.
Oh, okay, drama.
Our favorite.
It wouldn't be us working, doing this without the drama llama. So we're all right.
I should get I need a GIF that's like
hey,
the
in
drama
the
llama
comments,
gift.
what should I get from Taco Bell? We're ordering Taco Bell for dinner, and I have no idea what I want.
You want the
Somebody in the comments.
They keep changing it. My son loved the chicken taco one where the outside part of the taco is like just
the naked chicken chalupa.
They took it away from us, man. We ordered it too much, maybe. We killed all the chickens on the planet. They don't have.
Oh, you know what they got out here? They just brought back the grilled cheese burrito. Oh man,
grilled cheese burrito.
So, I don't know, JD. You might be in an area out there where it's like that, but where we're at here in Toledo, there are more fast food restaurants than there are people. And they like to use this area because I guess it's a good cross section of the country to test things. So we've had all of these things like the especially Taco Bell. We had Doritos Locos Tacos before anybody. Mm-hmm. We had Taco Bell breakfast before anybody. We had all of these things, and then they go away, and you forget that you like them. And then they announce them and go, "Oh, that's a really great idea." And then it comes back and like, "Oh, this is that thing I forgot about."
Yeah, it's kind of mean, honestly. They get you addicted to it, and then they're like, "Yeah, you can't have any more." Ha.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, my brain just reset. I don't know what I was going to say.
I do have to say that Loco, Dorito, whatever. If they ever get rid of that thing, there's going to be a riot.
It was really. It's gotten the quality's gone down since they first brought it out. It used to be super Dorito-y.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, hey Strelly.
Well, on the
here
overall
we go. Drama Llama.
Let's see if Charlie has a Doritos Locos Tacos opinion.
Okay, hold on.
I think Doritos on the whole have gotten less flavorful.
Hey everyone. Sorry about
nonsensical things like what's our favorite kind of Taco Bell food?
Your favorite kind of taco? I think for me, it's the one that is going into my mouth.
There.
Yeah.
Kyle, order some for Charlie, whatever you're getting.
All right.
I will say,
tacos all around.
I grew up in Maine, so the first time I experienced Mexican food, it was actually Taco Bell. And at that time, that was something that was very exotic. A Taco Bell had just come to the main mall, and it was the first time that it wasn't pizza or hamburgers, and like there was no one going to it because it was so crazy and out there that you could get tacos at the mall. So this was way back in the day. I'm sure it's not strange now to see a Taco Bell in Maine, but there was definitely a time when like that was just something that was, I mean, it was exotic. If you wanted ethnic food, the only food that wasn't your standard white Caucasian, food, you had your Italian restaurants, and there might be a Chinese restaurant somewhere that you could drive to. That would be like a 45-minute drive. That was it. What I had growing up.
So the only food that wasn't dripping in mayonnaise then.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, like, look, Maine is, at least like the small town I grew up in, almost everyone went to one of two churches. It was all white. The only families of color, there was like one family of color in the county. It was crazy to go there and now live in LA, where you can get some amazing Mexican food. You can get basically amazing any kind of food, and that's all I have now. So
Charlie, did you grow up in a town where, as a high schooler, the thing you did on Saturday nights was drive from the 7-Eleven parking lot where you cruised around and went to the other side of town to the Sonic and cruised the Sonic?
So it would have been great if we had had a Sonic, but I will say that we went from the 7-Eleven to the Extra Mart. It was a 3 traffic light town that I came from. And a friend of mine and I used to do something we called drive-by theater. This is going to sound really pathetic, where we would sit in his car with some food and we would watch people drive by and kind of make up stories about who they might be and where they were coming from. And he had a car that looked like an old, like 1970s cop car. So it was funny for us when people would slam on their brakes when they were trying to go by because they thought maybe there was a cop car there, like sitting there and waiting for them. So that's about as exciting as things got in Maine, where you could literally, like, I could drive 7 miles around 11 o'clock at night and see maybe one other car on the roads.
So the town you grew up in is not unlike the town in White Ash on some level, where it's
but instead, if you transpose and you take coal mining and swap it out for lobstering, like that was pretty much it. Like the industry, a lot of people, like there was so I grew up in basically it was a beach town, like a summer resort town. So it was hopping in the summertime. There'd be about 30,000 people there. Then they would all go away during the winter. But like the movie theater in the town, which was only open during the summer, had all these lobster boys lining the ceilings, and it had the names of different lobstering families, and like half the kids that I went to high school with had the same last names as you'd see on those buoys, because it was a town where people just stayed for generation after generation. So really, that really is that kind of legacy, following in your father's footsteps, your mother's footsteps. Like you did what your family did before you, small town life kind of thing. And it was an old town. This was Wells, Maine. It was established in 1676, I think is, so for American towns, about as old as they get. But
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty. And again, I'm sorry for coming so late. Like just craziness at the house. I walked in the door and there was just, like you just have those days, and sometimes like the home is not the refuge you want it to be, and you have to sort of situate and make sure everyone's okay. When you have kids, when you have kids, when you have families, like these things happen sometimes. It's just a little bit of drama. So, but all good. So
Charlie, did you go to the Scout HQ opening? Did you get to go?
So no. I got to be part of it on the live stream. I mean, the new store looks incredible. And as I like I was on because I'm out in Los Angeles. So for me to jump on a plane to fly to Florida for the opening of the store, as much as I would like to, it's not something I can do right now. but it's for anyone who's watching the stream who hasn't seen it. What Scout did is we turned we have a new headquarters, which is our corporate offices, but it's also our fulfillment center for sending to retailers. But the entire front, when you walk in, we've turned into a show floor and an active store that can sell Scout products. And part of the mindset is that we can try different things out and see how they work and then offer them to retailers. So it becomes like a guinea pig storefront where you can say, oh, are these selling? And then we can say, oh yeah, these things sell. We've seen them sell in this store. Retailers, would you like to partake in this thing too? But as you know, I mean, anyone can always get anything that we're selling. We're happy to give it to you guys so you guys can sell it as well. So, but it's a beautiful, beautiful store.
Hey, I have some photos from the thing if you guys want to see them.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
please.
Do you have them throw up?
Yeah, hold on.
While he's looking for those photos, I just want to say I think that the coolest thing that I saw that you guys were doing there, or that was getting set up there, was the coffee connection.
Yeah. So there's a company that started doing something called Coffee on Comics or Comics on Coffee, where they're printing, they're having different small roast lots with branded with different comic images. And so James talked to them and he set up a whole line of Scout products. So we're going to be doing Scout flavored coffee. And so they'll be serving that in the store, but we'll also be selling that on the website. So it's just like another nice little thing, a way to read your comics and drink the coffee that goes well with them. So
look at how nice that is all set up.
Yeah, there's I really love the way they I think first of all, Jen, everything I always see at your store is incredible. So I love the way that you have your store set up in like the different areas, but it's nice because it's just Scout. So rather than having to focus on, and here's a Scout section, here's another publisher section, here's a such and showcase things, we can break it down into here are first issues, here are metal covers, here are trades, here are glow in the darks, here are our mature titles, here are the hollow foils, here's the whole kids section. And so like I love that they're able to do that. And here's the coffee that you can have. Here's HQ. It's just a really beautiful place. And
I haven't seen any hollow foil out there in the universe. Is that something that you guys are test marketing there?
I think some of those hollow foils were exclusives that they had done in conjunction with a particular retailer.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
If you're looking to do something like that, talk to James. I do know that there, in general, had been some printing problems, so they were trying to make sure that they could keep doing it in a way that made sense for everyone. Because it's no good. Yeah, it's no good when you print 50 hollow foils and have to return 25 of them. As you know. So
I mean, if you want to do a business where like you order 100 of them and then you just destroy part of the print run to make a tiny print run.
Right. It makes them more rare. Right. So
those are really funny.
Yeah. So I mean, but the store in general just looks great. And I think one of the things I love about it is I think from what I've seen, a lot of the creators who have books were so excited to see a store showcasing their comics, because unlike your amazing shop, for some reason, not every store out there has a Scout section. So some creators, if they want to see their own books, they have to put them on pull at their LCS, or they might see the first issue on the stands. And after that, it's hard to get things. So for them to see an entire shop devoted to the brand, I think it was exciting for them, and it made them feel special. And I want to have creators to be able to go there for signings, in addition to their LCS. But I think I think it's something that I wish that, I bet you'll see at some point, you'll see something like this from some other publisher, because it looks good. And I look at that and I'm like, wow, way back in the day when I interned at Marvel in the 90s, they used to have a teeny little, you would go in and there was a spinner rack and there was a couple of couches. Did you ever go to Marvel in New York City?
No, I tried to go the 2 times I went to New York Comic Con, but go figure, they're really busy during New York Comic Con.
Right. And it may be different because this was 25 plus years ago that I was there. And but you would go up an elevator and it would open, and you would go into this teeny little lobby, and there was like one couch, a spinner rack, and a couple of pictures on the wall, and that was Marvel's corporate headquarters, and then you would go into the back and you'd see the bullpen and all of these other things, but it was not accessible to anyone who wasn't being brought into the back. So we want to make something like the Scout experience accessible for everyone. So
the only place I've seen that's done kind of what you guys are doing is I think the Funko headquarters has like a fully shoppable,
right,
almost looks like a pop museum.
Yeah, which makes sense for them, of course. Yeah, and like I've been fortunate enough to, as a writer, take meetings at a lot of the different production companies, and there's just such an experience when you go there as when you're taking a meeting and you go into like Bad Robot, which is one of the best ones. I mean, like I don't know if you've ever had a chance to go into any of these production companies, Jen, but Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams' company. It's incredible. You walk in and the lobby is just memorabilia from all of his films, from Star Wars, from Star Trek, from Lost, from Alias. It's all over the place, and you're kind of like in an experience as you're sitting there waiting to meet someone. And I mean, that's just amazing. They also have just that was the first place where someone was like, "Hey, would you like a coconut water?" And I was like, "Sure." And they're like, "Which brand?"
Wow.
They had like 8 brands of coconut water that they were willing to offer to you as someone just
from
coming
the
in.
coconut, please.
Yeah. And like Netflix has a beautiful headquarters too. But so I just think like there's something that when you walk into a place like that and you're taking a meeting, you're a creator, you realize that the company loves what they're doing because they're willing to showcase it. And we do love the comics that we're putting out, and we want our creators to feel special and feel like they are being showcased and the brand is being showcased.
Yeah, it also puts like if you have harmless plan, there you go. Like if you were going to take a meeting with a production company or Hollywood, that walking into that space might give them a different frame of mind about comic books. They're like, oh wait, there's this is good stuff.
I mean, eventually we're hoping to open a Scout HQ on West Coast. And then we would probably ape something like that. And you're right. It would be the perfect thing for when the development executives walk in. Skybound has a little bit of that. I don't know if you've been to their offices, but with their offices, basically you walk in and they have, it's a big open floor plan. So you walk in, they have a couple of tables and chairs and then like a spinner rack or two, but then you can see all the offices for the editorial staff stretching out back, behind that, so it's kind of nice that you can sort of see that. And then you go upstairs and that's where the production for film and TV are.
So amazing.
Yeah.
So are you super excited for second story arc, White Ash?
Yeah. It's so interesting because I mean, like for me, and for anyone who's coming late to the stream or coming to the stream, I mean, White Ash, the quick pitch for it is, I like to say either Romeo and Juliet meets Lord of the Rings in rural Pennsylvania, or imagine the guys from Supernatural got stuck in Riverdale, and rather than battling demons from hell, they had to deal with the worst of Mordor. It's the perfect book for people who like True Blood or The Magicians, anything where it's like fantasy set in our world and that feels grounded and then starts getting bigger and bigger. Is that, when White Ash came out, the first arc, Scout wasn't the company that it is now. And we had a much smaller imprint out there. And also White Ash started coming out in the middle of the pandemic. So we put like 2 issues of White Ash out and then we stopped, which is not the best thing when you're trying to launch a series. So it's really been nice to be able to come back and kind of build up to the launch with the trade that we just put out. We had the free comic book day issue out to help introduce people to White Ash. So I am really excited to introduce White Ash to a whole new world of readers. I mean, we also have a Jay Lee variant cover for the first issue. And then one thing, in case you don't know this, I'll just let you know right now. We're also running a promotion through all of our November titles, which is kind of spilling into December titles because that's the way the world is right now in terms of when things are coming out. If you look at the game, the free comic book day issue of White Ash, there was a little preview for the game in it. And we were talking about how we're actually going to be running a game through our November titles. And that's Commander Rao, which came out this week, and Thud, and White Ash, and Ranger Stranger, and Third Wave 99, where somewhere in there, there's going to be a keyword hidden. And if you can put those keywords from those 5 different issues together, it's going to lead to an answer. And the first 10 people who solve that puzzle will be winning metal covers of an exclusive preview of the game, which will be coming out from Scout Comics.
Challenge accepted.
So just so you know, that is out there. But it's also something, we were trying to find a fun way to introduce people to a bunch of incredible new titles that are coming out. So I am super excited for White Ash. I think if anyone who liked the first arc, they're going to like this new one even better. Connor, who's the artist on the book, he's gotten better every issue, and he's just really leveled up for what's going forward right now. And the same as Finn, who's the colorist on the book. I mean, they just work in concert so well together. And yeah, so like the stuff that they're doing now, again, like I said, it's just gone to the next level. And yes, and then I've also been working with Romana Morinelli, who's doing that was a spin-off one-shot Glarian, but we will be doing a full Glarian mini-series that will be coming out after this arc of White Ash, just hopefully tide people over to this 3rd season comes out. But yeah, so like I'm really excited not only about White Ash, but like everything that's coming out in November. Ranger Stranger is one of the funniest books that we have ever put out. Have you seen any of the previews for that?
I got the New York Comic Con one.
Yeah, it's super twisted, right?
My favorite.
Yeah, it is like anyone who loves. Thank you so much. And anyone who liked Murder Hobo, like this is in the same vein, or Metal Shark Bro, but like a slightly dirtier, more deranged version of Metal Shark. That's the niche it's hitting. Commander Rao, which came out this week, is just a great 44-page one shot, which gives you so much comic for your money. So we have some of these great titles that are coming out over the next couple of weeks, and I'm really glad that White Ash got to be part of that. And hopefully, some people who check out White Ash because of this game will check out some of those other books as well.
Okay, so tell everybody again, which titles do they find the pieces in it?
All right, so out this week are Commander Rao and Thud. Okay, and then coming out next will be White Ash, which I believe is going to be December 1st right now. Unfortunately, it's going to be about 2 weeks from now. And then after that, it will be Ranger Stranger and Third Wave 99.
Third Wave, okay.
So you'll be able to find all of those pieces, put them together, and they will lead you to an answer. And when you have that answer...
Is the place where they are in the book a secret, or if you will it be clear, and the hard part is figuring out how it goes together?
I would say that it's not in the main story. That's the hint I'll give to people who are living there. And once you find one, you'll be able to find the others fairly easily, because they're all in roughly the same place. So like it's more about getting all the different keywords. It's about putting them together in the right way and figuring out where they lead to, and then finding the answer from there.
There you go. So for everyone that wants to be on future episodes of Survivor, here's a practice for you. About puzzles.
Yeah. No, I was trying to find something fun, because I think, between publishers and retailers, finding new ways to engage audiences is something that we should be doing. Whether it's these live streams, whether it's things, initiatives that we're doing on the publishing end, just finding new fun ways to engage, new readers. And, for me, that's what's exciting about being able to be on this side of the company. Because when I first came with White Ash, that's the other thing. I was a creator who had just joined Scout, and now I'm also the co-publisher there. So, I get to think about those fun ways of, both promoting, our books and the brand, but also helping creators boost their titles and their sales, and get to work with retailers so much more in ways that I never got to work before.
So is that the primary difference between like doing your own book and promoting your own book and being a publisher? It's you do the same things, but for all of the titles.
Well, I think like anyone who's self-published, right? If you're doing it right, you have a business plan, you have a game plan, you have a PR plan, and then on top of that, you have to handle all the print runs, you have to figure out distribution. So it's doing that and then blowing it up, and not just doing it for one title, but doing it for 12 titles a month, and making sure that you're maximizing space for all of those titles, because you don't want to, you want to look at the year as a whole and say, okay, what's going to come out in January, and making sure it's not stepping on the toes. If we have a great new vampire book coming out next month called Cult of Icarus, which is just fantastic. But you don't want that coming out at the same time as Stake, right? Which is also a great book. So you want to sort of separate those things. So you want to give them both little space. So each of those titles can shine. And you can also say, hey, people who love Stake, while you're waiting for that to come back, we have a great book for you, right? So you're figuring out how all these different pieces go together. And then one of the things I really love is meeting new creators and introducing them to this crazy world and saying, hey, this is going to be nuts, but let me give you, the 3 or 4 things that I've learned that might be able to help you a little bit. Which retailers are going to help you the most. How to approach them in a ways that it's helpful for them and not annoying. How to maximize sales when you put your book out. What kind of covers sell versus other covers, and how to be part of the ecosystem. Because I think so many new creators come from just promoting themselves in a way that works for them. They have to realize, going forward, it's not just about their brand; it's about creating a product that retailers can sell. Because if the retailers, Jen, if you don't order a book, it doesn't matter how good it is, right? People can't find it. So, their first customers are the retailers, and, they want to create things that retailers can sell. And then the retailers, in turn, once they have something they can sell, it's their job to figure out, okay, this story is the kind of story that sells to this person, right? So we're all part of that chain, but it starts with making something that's great. And then maximizing, different attributes that make it more sellable.
It sounds easy to say, but probably hard to do.
It depends on the book, right?
That's true. We've run out of time, but I want to make sure everybody knows to use local comic shop. Localcomicshop.com. Comicshoplocator.com. That's my brain today. To be able to find local comic shop near you.
Yes.
Just use the zip code and put it on there. And you can also contact Charlie. What's the best place for them to connect with you?
So I'm always on Twitter. @charlesstickney.com is probably the fastest way to get in touch with me. I'm always happy to talk comics or to help new creators out where I can. Obviously, if you're looking to submit something to Scout, hitting me up isn't always the best way to do it. We have a submissions process that you can find on the website. But if you have questions about the company or Kickstarter, which is something that I've had a lot of experience with in the past, I'm always happy to help people out.
Oh, that's lovely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this talking shop. Charlie, we'll have you back on, especially when we get to third arc time, because mind-blowing.
We wait till we get there. It should be a lot of fun. But and Jen, thank you again. And again, I apologize for missing the first part of the show.
Okay. We're super happy to have you on. All right, everybody, stay tuned to The Experience. There's more awesome stuff coming up next.